Today, the Swiss are regarded as exemplary Europeans. However, they have successfully hidden their true nature for centuries. In the Middle Ages, they were considered the most fearsome bandits in Europe. Legends claim that supernatural beings dwelling in alpine caves bestowed superpowers upon Swiss soldiers. Switzerland is the only country in the world with permanent neutral status. It is not a member of the European Union or any military alliances. It seems they have no need for an army, as the country remains at peace. Yet Switzerland boasts one of the strongest, best trained, and most heavily armed armies globally. They incorporate all modern advancements from other armies, indicating their keen observation of tactical developments, Air Force strategies, and their readiness to employ their forces on a contemporary level. Despite this, they rarely participate in major operations, neither contributing to NATO contingents nor deploying their own forces. Essentially, the entire Swiss population is one large army. Indeed, every Swiss man is subject to military service. They all keep weapons and necessary equipment at home, ready for combat at any moment. Additionally, they undergo mandatory annual military training. These Swiss lawyers, bankers, hoteliers, industrialists, and others take up their arms each year, as weapons are stored in their homes rather than arsenals. They attend compulsory military camps for several weeks, where they train and prepare for the defense of their country. The Swiss army consists of 100,000 personnel. In the event of a military threat, all men take up arms and join the ranks. The land forces component allows for mobilization within the first day, increasing the number of soldiers by 15 to 20% above the current active army strength. Within 2 days, Switzerland can deploy an army of 1.7 million soldiers. In comparison, the U.S. Army has 1.3 million service members. Furthermore, the entire country is mountainous, with tunnels and various shelters storing weapons. Everywhere, rocket and artillery firing positions are embedded in granite. Additionally, highways can be converted into aircraft runways in case of a military emergency. Various areas in the mountains and tunnels where people gather are mined, allowing Switzerland to block access to its territory if needed. At first glance, a peaceful Swiss village. Some of these cozy houses are camouflaged army bunkers, fully equipped. Moreover, each family is required to have an underground bunker in case of a nuclear war. This is a matter of national prestige for the Swiss. It is no wonder, then, that they approach the army with such meticulousness, as they have something to protect and ensure their security. But why does this small country, which has been at peace for centuries, take such precautionary measures? Could it be a matter of the local mentality? They posed a threat to their surroundings, easily engaging in battles, winning them, and emerging victorious. There was a certain strength inherent in them. Swiss mercenaries were valued across Europe as invincible warriors for centuries. German princes and French kings hired them for their services. It was a unique guarantee of quality. Swiss soldiers never surrendered. They defended their masters until their last breath. This military spirit persists in Switzerland to this day. Some believe Swiss soldiers resemble Spartans in this regard, while others attribute it to mysticism. Allegedly, certain entities inhabit the Alpine mountains, bestowing their abilities, endurance, strength, ruthlessness, and bloodthirstiness upon the local inhabitants. With these powers, they could conquer neighboring peoples. Perhaps this is why wars tend to bypass this state. The world knows better than to quarrel with Switzerland. It is simpler to pay them by depositing money in a Swiss bank. But who are these beings that grant soldiers superpowers? Are they the ones the Swiss worship during their monster carnivals? This version seems more like a fairy tale. Perhaps goblins or elves inhabit the mountains? But they are not the source of the locals' strength. The secret lies in the Swiss being descendants of the Celts. In March 2017, a burial site over 2,000 years old was discovered in Switzerland during the construction of a school. A representative of Celtic nobility was interred in a coffin carved from a tree trunk. Interestingly, about 100 years ago, a Celtic warrior's burial was found nearby. He was buried with a spear, sword, and shield. The Celts inhabited Switzerland, and these peoples were renowned for their ability to conquer, repel any attacks, win various battles, and engage in trade and entrepreneurship. There is even a mention of Celtic attacks on neighboring Roman lands in 370 BCE. The Celts inhabited a vast territory from the Czech Republic to Ireland. They were considered the most warlike people in Europe. To intimidate their enemies before a battle, the Celts emitted deafening screams and blew on war trumpets. The Greek historian Diodorus Siculus wrote that Celtic warriors, upon killing their opponents, cut off their heads and hung them around their horses' necks. Upon returning home, they nailed the heads to the entrances of their dwellings. The Celts likely came to Europe from the east. Essentially, the Celts were a mixture of Persians and Spartans. Spartans were warriors, Persians were traders, and they were skilled and careful handlers of money, like entrepreneurs. In 480 BCE, the Battle of Thermopylae took place between the Persians and the Spartans. The width of the pass was only 60 steps. In this bloody slaughter, nearly 25,000 people perished. 300 of the bravest and most prepared Spartans, led by King Leonidas, attacked the enemy camp at night, killing many Persians. At dawn, the Persians noticed the small size of the Spartan force and began throwing spears at them. Persian King Darius II formed the first military and trade union with Sparta. A mutual cultural exchange began. Children were born to Persians and Spartans. Although they were often raised in Sparta, they never became full citizens. Having received military training, they left their homeland. However, Persia did not welcome them either, as the memory of past enmity was still fresh among the elders. A mixing of peoples occurred, and a generation of Persians and Spartans, not fully accepted in either Persia or Sparta, had to establish their settlements and seek new places to live. It is unknown what these people called themselves, and they had no written language. Neighboring tribes dubbed them Celts. They were renowned as fearless warriors and enterprising traders. This ability was genetically ingrained in the new Celtic people, enabling them to resolve various issues. They not only waged war, but also successfully exploited their gains. This combined entrepreneurship and belligerence. Gradually, the Celts moved west and chose lands resembling their homeland, Sparta, as their permanent residence. Indeed, if one examines these mountain ranges, one will find many similarities. Look at this mountain from which Spartans threw infants. Now observe the views of Switzerland. To maintain sovereignty without getting involved in foreign wars, one must present a force that is respected. This is the position Switzerland finds itself in today. Undoubtedly, its central location in Europe, its status as the banking hub of the world, and the fact that any political decision must be financially backed, lead to Switzerland, whether we like it or not, probably being the backstage of all political events and the birthplace of revolutions. Perhaps each state has its unique role. One country may be a kind of global policeman, another a showcase of Western prosperity, a third a granary, a fourth a health resort, a fifth an outcast nation, another a scapegoat, and Switzerland a concentration of power, money, and authority.